In this video, I'm going to give you an example for the item numbers 4 and 9 of the activity sheet number 4. And the problem is, find the sum of all odd positive integers less than 150. Now, let us first talk about the odd positive integers. When we say odd numbers, we are talking about numbers that are not exactly divisible by 2. So what are the numbers? We have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on and so forth. And since we are talking about odd positive integers, that means we are not going to take the negative numbers. Okay? So if we are going to list all of the odd positive integers less than 150, then we will have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, up to... Now, question, what is the last odd positive integer that is less than 150? That is 149. Okay? Now, if we are going to look at this sequence, we will notice that this is just an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of positive 2. Okay? Now, since the problem is looking for the sum of this sequence, then we are now talking about an arithmetic series. Okay? Now, the formula for the arithmetic series is this one. S sub n equals n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n. The number of terms, first term, and then the last term. Now, if any of these variables is missing, then that means we have to go back to the formula of the arithmetic sequence, which is this one, just to find the value of the missing variable here. Okay? So to start solving for the sum of this sequence, let us identify first what are the given. So the given on this problem is, let's start with the number of terms, n. Do we know how many terms are there in this sequence? Is it given? No, not yet. So that means that it's still unknown. Okay? Now, what about the first term? Do we know the first term or the a sub 1? Yes, it is positive 1. So we have the value of a sub 1. And what about the last term, the a sub n? The a sub n, is it given? Yes, that's 149. Okay? Now, as I have said earlier, if there is a missing value of these variables, then that means we have to go back to this formula to find the value of that missing variable. In this case, yung n. Okay? So let us use this formula, which is the formula for the arithmetic sequence. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. Now, what values are we going to use in these variables? Still, the values given on this sequence. Okay? So, yung a sub n natin, it's still the last term of the sequence, which is the 149. Okay? So, yung a sub n is 149. So, by substitution, we have this equals the a sub 1, which is 1 plus, what is the common difference of this sequence? If you will notice, it's just plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2 all the time. So, that means that the common difference is positive 2. So, yung d natin is positive 2 times yung n minus 1. And then simplify. So, first, transpose this one to the other side of the equation. So, we have 149 minus 1. So, what's left on this side of the equation is we have 2 times n minus 1. Next, what is 149 minus 1? That's 148. Equals, you have 2 times n minus 1. And then, after this, divide both sides by 2 to cancel this out. Okay? Now, what is 148 divided by 2? That is 74. Equals, now what's left on this side of the equation is n minus 1. Okay? Now, to find the value of n, transpose this one to the other side of the equation. This becomes plus 1. So, we will have 74 plus 1 equals the n. And 74 plus 1 is 75. Correct. So therefore, the value of n is 75. Now question, is this our final answer? No. This is just the value for n. Okay? Now that we already have the value of n, then that means that we can now use this formula to find the sum of this sequence. Okay? So let us now use that formula. S sub n equals n over 2 times a sub 1 plus a sub n, and then substitute those values to this formula. Okay? So we are looking for the sum of these numbers, which is how many terms are we dealing with in this problem? It's 75. So we are looking for the sum of the 75 terms of that sequence. Okay? And then yung n natin is, of course, that's 75 over 2 times the a sub 1, which is 1, plus the a sub n, which is 149. Okay? Now, divide 75 by 2. That's 37.5. Okay? That's 37.5. And then add 1 plus 149. That's 150. And then after that, multiply. What is 37.5 times 150? That's 5,625. So, what does it mean? This means that if we are going to add these numbers up to 149, then the sum that we will get is equal to 5,625.